project or other parts of life. Yeah, and I remember like when she first got her code, she went through and she literally commented every single line of code, and I was very impressed by that. Like, yeah, she's very, very dedicated to really understanding every single part of her project and how everything works together. And yeah, we had a great time working with Irene this summer, and I think you guys will really enjoy her project.
Give me a second, like, set it up. Hi, my name's Irene, and I'm going to be an incoming 8th grader at Stratford Preparatory. My project is a voice assistant with AI, and basically it's run by this Raspberry Pi, which controls other parts of it, like this LED, I'm sure you can see it, this relay, and this servo, which has a piece of paper taped to it. And I chose this project because it's more software than hardware based, and because I wanted to be able to talk to my project. So I'm going to demo it right now. But me too. So in this project, there is a text-to-speech library, and basically in this library, it will convert everything that I say to the text, and yeah. I also have an OpenAI API key, which I use to connect to OpenAI. Um, okay, so one of my wires came loose, but I think it shouldn't be that much. Tom, turn on the light. So it can hear me, but like sometimes it just doesn't hear the whole sentence, and because of this wire, I think everything is a little messed up right now. So I'm just going to show the video. So this is video. Okay, and this is the other part of my Tom, open the door. Tom, open the door. Tom, close the door. So on this piece of paper, you can't see it anymore, but there's the door, and I taped it on there. And now when the servo turns, it opens, and when the servo closes, it closes. My modifications were firstly to move all commands under Tom, so that instead of saying turn on the light or turn off the light, to turn on or off the light, I would say Tom turn on or turn off the light. And for it to go to the OpenAI API key, I would say Tom question instead. My second modification is adding the servo, which has paper, and every time I say Tom open the door, the servo turns to 90 degrees, and every time I say Tom close the door, the servo turns back to 0 degrees. My biggest challenge during this project was the servo, because it was not working at all at first. It was really jittery, and it was barely turning. So I tried a bunch of different libraries, and none of them worked, and eventually found one that was less jittery called PyGPIO. But it was not moving the full 180 degrees that it was supposed to. So after some testing and some other research, which made me figure out that the original pin that I connected my servo to did not do PWM or pulse width modulation, which is the width of a pulse, which controls how much power goes into the servo. I switched it to pin 17 instead, which does do PWM, and I added an external power source, or this battery pack, which would help it give it power, since the LED was already using some of the Raspberry Pi's power. I also connected the two grounds to prevent discrepancies. And if I had more time here at BlueStamp, I would make my project be able to play music. And at BlueStamp, I learned about circuits and breadboards, and I learned more about how Raspberry Pis work. I would like to thank my instructors, Brenda, Sophia, Ben, and Kevin for helping me with my project. Thank you. Do you have questions?
You mentioned you have a relay in your circuit. What's the purpose of it?
It's an electrically powered switch, and though it's not like completely necessary in this project, it helps control it and turn the LED on and off.
So what are like for Tom, I guess, what are like the limits to like the questions you can ask it, or if are there any limits at all?
There are limits, and it's like kind of outdated. So for example, if you ask it who the current president of the US is, it'll say Joe Biden. Because it's just outdated and it doesn't have like all the newest information. And sometimes if you ask it a question about what it thinks about people or things, it'll just completely blank out and say, I think everyone's special.